Jay-Z, Pharrell, Diddy,
damn, Usher,
and me was supposed to be a group. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, you're gonna hate me for that, I know. Yeah.
Why did you say no?
I didn't say no.
You didn't say yeah?
I didn't say yeah.
You said yeah on the record, but you didn't say yeah to that.
That's the one. I think that we just got caught up. I think we all got caught up.
Things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you
I
seeing?
went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it. And it was, but I don't know if I indulge and understand what I was even looking at.
What
like
a life.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
14 years old. You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy camp?
A lot of stuff that Mace and Usher know that they ain't telling about Diddy. There's a lot of stuff that they convince this guy, you know, or put him in a situation with other girls so he could do whatever he wanted to do with them. And it's just like the situation somewhat with Sarah and her girlfriend and him and Ja. It all sounds familiar, man. I read the whole thing, man, and it was crazy.
Sean Carter is worse.
Uh-oh. Oh, man.
He's smarter. He's patient. He's not sloppy.
To come back out, make my show hot, I so appreciate it. To Rockefeller Show, motherfucking city.
Usher has said something about Diddy and Jay-Z that no one else has in years. Usher hasn't said anything about it, but the R&B star has had enough. In a surprise interview, he gave away a few details about talks and conversations that took place behind studio walls. It was even scarier because of how calm he was. He didn't just throw names around, but what he did say painted a picture that fans can't get away from.
You know, when you're early in your career, you feel that you have to listen. And when you buck, they buck harder and they make threats. And those threats are huge ones.
Smalls was there.
Biggie Smalls was there. Lil' Kim, Craig Mack.
All these people are hanging around.
Yeah, man. Faith Evans, Jodeci, Mary J. Blige. They didn't know nothing about.
Oh.
I was having a good.
Pac had everybody's attention, so it was hard for him to become Jay-Z, like the best, the top, like, you know what I mean? Nobody could f with him. Like, it would have been difficult if they was around. And that's why you see them go through what they went through, because you got to fight for that position. But he didn't have to, like,
Start those conversations, because that's not your child. You know what I'm saying? And for you to keep him that close, it's like you kept him that close because he might got your secrets, because he's not your child. So if he's not your child and you that type of person with that type of character, you don't mind actually doing it to him when he finally reaches a certain age.
When she used to do her little modeling thing with her little ladies other night, the little wild parties. When she gave that up, remember the time that him and his mama kissed each other on the lips?
Yeah, I remember that video.
Do you remember that both of them was getting an IV at the same time?
Yeah, I did notice that, yep.
That's from the Diddy Freak Off party. And I'm gonna say allegedly.
So let me ask you this. You knowing her at one point, you knowing her personally, is she the kind of person that, you know, will be a part of a freak off or no?
I think that she liked to party, and she party with young people. She's.
Y'all got 365 days to get this together. We need the artists to take back the control. We need transparency. We need diversity. This is the room that has the power to make the change that needs to be made. They have to make the changes for us. They're a non-profit organization that is supposed to protect the welfare of the musical community. That's what it says on the mission statement. That's the truth. They work for us. We have the power. We decide what's hot. If we don't go, nobody goes. If we don't support, nobody supports. We control what's cool. We control what's hot. We control what you're...
What exactly took place at those fancy parties? The look on Usher's face says it all. In the early 2000s, Usher talked briefly about the strange energy at some events, calling them both close and scary. Fans quickly related these words to previous rumors about Diddy's legendary late-night activities. He did not directly address Jay-Z, but he did suggest mutual deals that were taking place beneath the surface. It was clear that something strange had happened, and he saw more than he told anyone.
Usher. I met him when he was 14, and my book actually opens with that because it was one of the highlights in my career. At 14 years old, this young guy comes walking into my office and he starts singing. And I stop him early and say, wait a minute, hold up, this is too good. I need to go get some girls. So I bring all the girls from the office in, and Usher drops down on one knee and starts singing it to the prettiest girl in the room and starts seducing her with his eyes. He's 14. Yeah. And he has no fear, no anxiety, no nervousness, and he goes in and he nails it. And I'm like, okay, thank you, and welcome to LaFace Rap. Justin Bieber walks into my office as a gift from Usher, who called a few minutes before and said, hey, I'm coming to your office at 3 o'clock. I have a very special gift for you. And he shows up with
Uno. That was around in that time that Puff and Usher did have a situation. And that situation led Usher to the hospital. Now I let Usher explain that to y'all. I let Usher tell that story. But how dare you say a man that you gonna give him a pass? Bruh, I know. Let me reframe you on something.
A single paper linked Usher, Diddy, and Jay-Z in ways no one expected. Usher claimed that he previously signed a contract giving some people access to his time, concerts, and even appearances, not as a business transaction but as a favor. Fans think that this favor was part of a bigger scheme where artists gave up their privacy in exchange for safety. It raises the question of whether Usher was being exploited or repressed.
They passed some kind of law on the 17th of November. That's why he hurried up and because they've been going through this for 6 months. And it was a law being passed by Governor Holcomb that, whether you sign a non-disclosure or not, if somebody commit a crime and everything like that, you're able to come out and say something against them or tell your story, and you won't lose anything that you made an agreement to. So they passed that law, I think, on November the 17th. So he hurried up and made a settlement so we don't learn the other 32 things that Cassie had in the lawsuit. She had like 60 different things in the lawsuit. They cut it down to 38. So now we're looking at the fact that if a prosecutor come in, and even in Cassie's case, if they could find anything that's criminal that they could bring against him, they can. That trafficking was criminal.
3 women have come out in 1 week against Sean Diddy Combs, alleging that he abused them. April Lamprose, Diddy's most recent accuser, filed a case in New York State Supreme Court, claiming that she was a college student studying fashion in the 1990s when he promised her industry access and mentorship. Instead, she claims he sexually attacked her 4 times. Lamprose claims Combs invited her to parties and his recording studio to impress her, as well as love-bombed her with gifts and flowers, but the friendship quickly turned into an aggressive, coercive, and abusive relationship based on sex in one of the alleged encounters, according to court papers. Lamprose claims the rapper forced her to ingest ecstasy and demanded she have sexual relations with Kim Porter, one of Combs' ex-girlfriends with whom he has 3 children. Porter died in 2018. Former model Crystal McKenna filed a federal lawsuit earlier this week, claiming that she had dinner with Combs in 2003 and was then molested in his recording studio the same night. The women's claims join a growing list of others who have come forward with charges against the rapper in the last 6 months, including singer Cassie Ventura, who spoke out for the first time on the explosive video showing Combs beating her in a Los Angeles hotel hallway back in 2016. Ventura wrote, "My only request is that everyone open their hearts to believing victims."
Waited 15 years to talk about it. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts to that, to where they didn't talk about it then, but now when lawsuits come up?
Why would they talk about it then?
A lawsuit is a lawsuit. I mean,
but why would they talk about it? That's a good question. Why would they talk about it? Who is there to go to? Who's gonna help them?
Y'all funny to me. I ain't told y'all what's going on, what's gonna be happening. I didn't compare the Donald Trump situation when they went and did the search warrants, grand jury was assembled, and then they got indicted, right? I compared the Keefy D situation, did a search warrant, do a grand jury, indictment coming. I told y'all, 4 months ago when all this broke? It wasn't 4 months ago, but I said 4 months ago, 4 months there will be an arrest done by Mr. Combs. I told y'all the reason why I said 4 months, because of all the things that had to happen. The search warrant, which happened right after I said it was going to happen. And then the grand jury part, which is happening now. And it's the beginning of June 2024. I can guarantee y'all by the end of August, I'm not saying he will be in custody, because I believe he's going to either run like Russell or he's going to commit. I don't believe Puffy is the type of man that can set up and go to court and try to fight this. Yeah, they're going to drain him. But they're going to advise him or attempt to or want to do that. I don't think Puffy is strong enough to sit in that county jail.
You've been listening to the lies for years without even realizing it. Fans went back and analyzed Usher's past lyrics. Some now think that his songs included secret messages. In Confessions, for example, some words feel less romantic and more revealing. Could it be that Usher has been trying to speak out for years, but only through his music?
Because you can't get into the party. It doesn't matter what the is going on in the party. Nothing cool is going on in the party. It's a party. But you can't, for some fucking reason, at his party, you can't get into his party. So now what do you want to do? Get into that man's party and see what the fuck all the hubbub's about. So right now I have a do not fucking enter sign.
Happy birthday to you.
Ass man, and I probably should. Oh wow.
See what I'm saying? He put on her socks.
Why would he do that?
Because it's a power thing.
It's grippy. By the way,
it's grippy, bro.
Yo, drugs like a motherfucker. And you're in the Intercontinental Hotel and you run out in a towel. This was 2016, they say, or 18?
Yeah.
This guy was 46 years old. Yeah. You're a multi, you might have been a billionaire by the time.
I don't chalk it up to, like, no drug makes you beat a woman.
No.
You beat women and then you're on drugs, and then you do it. Like,
it's not only drugs.
Yeah,
it's not only, I'm not saying it's not only drugs, but this isn't regular behavior, bro.
The amount of times you gotta hit your girl to not give a fuck that you're in public?
Yes! That's what I'm saying.
But I think that he's just such a power-hungry person that when I think he feels invincible when he has the power. And these types of things, unfortunately, make him feel invincible.
Yeah. Top about him.
What? About his life is power and how he can exert power on people. I think that's why watching people fuck someone is power. It's like, I'm going to make you do this thing you don't even...
Yeah. Kim couldn't go nowhere. Kim couldn't go nowhere, bro. Kim couldn't have no relationships. Kim couldn't be at no club. If he called Kim's house, and at this time she had this little Spanish looking girl, and she might have a case. she might have a case. It was Christian Babysitter. She might get in touch with
things. And for her to say, I'm going to talk about my pain and anger at you, what were those conversations like?
Again, it didn't happen in that way. It happened, we were using our art almost like a therapy session, and we started making music together.
Mm-hmm.
And then the music she was making at that time was further along. So her album came out as opposed to the joint album that we were working on. We still have a lot of that music. And this is what it became. There was never a point where it was like, I'm making this album. I was there.
Right.
I was right there the entire time.
And what was her reaction to your work, and what was your reaction to hers? They must have caused pain for each of you, right?
Of course. And both very, very uncomfortable, but sitting in that, the best place in the, hurricane is like in the middle of it.
Yeah.
We were sitting in the eye of that hurricane. Maybe not use hurricane because so many people are being affected right now, but the best place is right in the middle of the pain.
Right.
And that's where we were sitting, and it was uncomfortable. And we had a lot of conversations, and really proud of the music she made, and she was really proud of the art I released. And, at the end of the day, we really have a healthy respect for one another's craft. I think she's amazing.
Right.
Most people walk away and like divorce rate is like 50% or something because most people can't see themselves. The hardest thing is seeing pain on someone's face that you caused and then have to deal with yourself.
Yeah.
So most people don't want to do that.
Yeah.
You don't want to look inside yourself.
That was your daughter? Would you let God handle it? All those people, they ain't denounced him. They ain't definitely, they can't come forward and say, yo, I support them. Because it would mess up their brand. It would mess up their brand. Jay-Z. We the only one could call each other Sean. Jay is the only one could call me Sean. I'm the only one could call him Sean. Get the hell out of here. If that ain't no fun boy stuff. But you ain't had not one person, brother, not one person sit there, denounce what he did, or come forward and say, I support him.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Nobody haven't came out to support him, man. Not one person.
According to Usher, Jay-Z wasn't simply watching, he was manipulating everything, despite public belief that Diddy was the key participant. Usher's tale portrayed Jay-Z as an equally influential figure. He suggested that Jay frequently played the quiet financier, pulling strings behind the scenes while Diddy controlled the show publicly. These claims startled fans, who had long seen Jay-Z as strategic but not manipulative. Usher's words may have permanently altered that outlook.
From the world of entertainment,
There's only one person.
Oh, go on.
And I call him Sean. That's Jay-Z. We call each other Sean.
Okay.
Yeah. Nobody else could call me Sean.
He's the only person who's Sean approved.
There's not a single person that
outside of family.
That should be outside of my mother.
Okay,
That should be calling me Sean. To New York City. And I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you
New
over
York
to something
City.
called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn
Flavor Camp?
Yeah,
Flavor
that's what it
Camp.
was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's going
In the 90s. Do you understand what that's like?
Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and orgying like nonstop, right?
No, not really. I mean, but hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it. And it was but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
So nobody tried to, some woman didn't come along.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't say that. What I did say is that there were very curious things taking place.
Usher claimed his career nearly lost after a weird phone call. He discussed a call he got after declining a private invitation. He claimed that everything changed in an instant. Bookings dried up, transactions were paused, and he was told to rethink. Though he did not specify who made the call, many think it was either Diddy's circle or someone representing Jay-Z's interests. The word was clear: play along or be pushed out.
Take that. There's a new lawsuit by a man this time around.
And in the lawsuit, he implied that Meek Mill and Usher were part of these freak-offs that he's so infamous for.
Let me ask you, is this still doubtable at this point that Diddy is,
Listen, until I see it, I'm not going to say that it happened.
Man, listen.
Listen, there's been lots of, in fact, this one dude, Fat Jewish, you know who that guy is? It's this like Jewish comedian guy. He went to this whole story, and this story has been kind of popping up again. But he was saying he was at this one house party, and it was a super, super high end. He wasn't even sure how he even got in there. But as he was walking around, I think he was trying to find the bathroom, and he walked into a room, and it was Diddy and this gay DJ named Felix the House Cat, and they were like spooning, according to him. And he said that Diddy saw him, and their eyes kind of locked, and they tried to get him to say that he was joking or whatever else, but he kind of keeps saying the story over and over again. And I looked up, Felix the House Cat is an openly gay DJ. That part is established. I don't know. I'm not going to say it happened. I'm going to say it didn't happen. I wasn't there. I've never had any sort of gay experiences with Diddy.
There's just too many clues, brother.
Remember Wendy Williams got kicked off the radio for that?
Yeah.
When she brought up and said that there's some, she has some sort of gay proof, Puffy called and said, you either get rid of her or I'm suing. They got rid of her.
But that was probably at the apex of Puff's powers.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, these are my Wendy from the radio show days.
Before she went on TV. Yeah, she had to go to Philly because of that.
Yeah.
And I remember when I interviewed her, she kind of alluded to that. She goes, I was burned at the stake for that. Now look. Rah, rah, rah.
Right.
There was a radio personality once upon a time. Her name was Wendy Williams. And she was practically burned at the stake for talking about such. And now it's all come full circle. There were many situations, none of which to talk about, but there were many situations back in the day in my career. And it's all coming full circle now. So.
Listen, I don't know. Is Fluffy gay or bisexual? I don't know. I've never been there. There.
If it looked like a gay club, smelled like a gay club, it's probably a gay club.
But there's a story I've recently been telling about Diddy. I said it on Drink Champs for the first time. Me and Faison Love kind of had a little laugh fest when I brought this up. I was at a club. This was years ago. This was maybe 2006 or so. At the time I was a broke DJ, so when you're broke, you kind of depend on merch. Mm-hmm. These companies giving you free clothes, so you could look kind of fresh without having to spend a lot of money. And there's this company named Stahl & Dean. They did these really dope throwbacks with teams that didn't exist anymore. So they're running this whole kind of series with these old Negro League teams.
Right.
And there was a team called the Brown Bombers. Well, my man Rikers, who worked there, was really cool with me. So he gave me this Brown Bombers jacket with a matching hat. And it was like, I was feeling myself. I'm like, okay, like no one else has this. Like, yo, I'm about to go hit the club with this. So I was out in the club, and Puffy was in the club as well. And this guy approached me, and he was like, yo, man, I work for Puffy. Oh, okay, cool. What's up? He goes, hey, man, Puffy really likes that jacket you're wearing.
Take that.
He's wondering if you want to sell it to him.
You had to pay him in dick.
I said, no, man, I'm not going to sell much. Are you sure? Because it's going to be some money. I said, nah, man, I'm cool. And honestly, having another man offer to buy my jacket off me is really kind of weird. If you ask me, nah, I'm cool. No thanks.
I'm going to be, hold up now. Objection. I don't see that as a weird thing. Listen, if you a rich motherfucker and you go, yo, that fucking jacket hot, and you go, I'll give you $5,000 for a jacket that probably costs maybe half that, if that. You wouldn't sell it? And that make him gay?
I didn't say he was gay by saying that. And okay, no point did I say
But why do you find that weird? Because one thing about rich motherfuckers, they used to getting what they want when they want. That's part of the power of being rich.
I guess in retro, I just felt it was kind of disrespectful. I felt like
disrespectful would have been if his boys beat you up and took the jacket. Right. He offered you money.
He offered me money. I guess all he had to do was say, that's a dope jacket, where'd you get it? And then the next day, he goes and gets that jacket.
But maybe he doesn't want to go the next day. Maybe he wants to wear the motherfucker right now. And because it's a dope jacket and he's who he is, that adds to his dopeness.
Yeah.
I don't think that's weird at all.
I thought it was weird. And I remember when I told him.
So you didn't even entertain how much he was going to offer you?
Nah, because I wasn't going to take my jacket off and give it to another man.
Now that's weird.
That's weird?
Yes. What if he'd have said, yo, I'll give you 10 grand?
He wasn't going to give me 10 grand.
You don't know that.
I do know that.
No, you don't know
Puffy's notoriously cheap. He'll spend money on girls
well,
or whatever
if he wants
else.
the jacket bad enough, maybe that's where you can negotiate.
Yeah, I wasn't going to negotiate. I felt I had a certain level of dignity to not take off I think it was the middle of winter also. It was going to be like, nah,
Man,
I'm good.
let me tell you something. If a motherfucker offered me $5 million for my whole wardrobe in the dead of winter, I'm dead ass naked.
He probably would offer me $200 or something like that.
All right, maybe not for 200, but if the price is right,
yeah,
nigga, you better take your naked cold ass into the next open store. Get 1,000 jackets.
I remember when I brought it up with Faison.